Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Mustang Build Project. Today we're going to be fixing multiple electrical issues that we have on our 64 Mustang, including installing a reverse light, a starter switch or ignition switch with the bezel, a engine harness, and license plate lights. Let's get into it. Now we're going to install the reverse lights. Alright, and now we're going to install the covers. Now we're going to install the sleeving to the reverse light wires. The wire's all hooked up, and now we're going to test it out. And as you can see, they're working perfectly. Alright, now that we're finished with the reverse lights, now we're going to work on the license plate light. Alright, so here's our bulb cover, and it did not come with a gasket, so we're going to make our own out of this sheet of foam. First, we need to assemble the bulb casing. Install this casing, but it goes behind the bumper, so it's going to be quite difficult. So we got it all hooked up, now we're going to test and see if it works. And as you can see, it worked in both the headlights and the parking light switch. Now we're going to install a new ignition switch with bezel because the old ignition switch sticks. Alright, so now we're going to have to remove the key cylinder from the switch. Now to do that, you have to turn it into accessory and poke a pin into that little hole and then turn it past the accessory. And then you can pull it straight out. Alright, so now we're going to remove the ignition switch here by pushing it in and turning it. Alright, to remove the ignition switch, you have to push it in and turn towards you. And then it should come right out. Alright, so now we're going to reinstall this key. And lastly, we're going to install this new wire harness because the old harness has multiple splices and repairs in it, and even a break. So let's get into it. First, we're going to take off the solenoid wires. So we ran into a problem taking off this nut, so we're going to cut the connector wire and take out the sensor. Alright, so we had to get the sensor out because the nut was stuck and we couldn't get the wire off. And now we're going to use a nut cracker to remove this nut. Alright, so we used the nut cracker to get this nut off. Now we're going to just clean up the thread with this wire brush. Go ahead. Alright, so now we're going to sleeve the wires that we just installed, and we're going to P-clip it to the body of the car. Now that we got our wire sleeve installed, we're going to P-clip it to the car. Alright, so we got this oil pressure gauge, and we want to keep that while being able to hook up this new oil pressure sensor. And so we're going to tee it off so we can keep a warning light in the dash and still have this gauge up here in the engine well. First, we got to remove the old sensor. We need to put on some Teflon tape to seal the pipe fittings. Alright, now everything's tightened up, it's just time to hook up the wire. So we got all the wires hooked up, now we're going to try and start the engine to make sure that everything still works.